Hey, what's up, everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so, well, didn't get a chance to talk to the social worker, which was what my plan was. I had an appointment for what I thought was 2 o'clock. Paperwork I had said 2 o'clock. When I got there, they had changed it to 1. He came up to me and told me a disclaimer about how they had called me and told me that it was at 1 at some random point in the last 2 weeks. But when they call, they don't identify themselves in the caller ID. I don't know what the science is behind that. You're a business. Should you not be letting people know who you are when you call? Like, just get to a point where I don't understand any of that. But as I told dude, I was like, I don't answer phone calls that don't identify themselves. I'm not gonna do that. Block numbers and random numbers. I get all types of sales calls all the day long. If I answer all of those anticipating issue, I'll be answering my phone every 3 minutes. I'm not doing that. It's not happening. Use a text. It's 2025. You can't text? Like, y'all, a business that don't text you, a business that don't show who you are when you call. I mean, what you want me to do? He said, we left a message. I was like, I don't check those. Same reason. Sales calls, bro. Now, if you identify yourself as Koreatown Mental Health Clinic, then I could see that on my caller ID and call you back or check the message that came from the clinic. But if you, as far as I could tell, you could be somebody trying to sell me on a trip to Vegas for all I know, man. It's the sales call era. So I went down there on time from what it is it said, and then sat there for 30 minutes just for them to come out and tell me that. I don't even know what I'm seeing a social worker for anyway, to be honest with you. I know they ain't got nothing for me. And we've already been through that rigmarole, but I let Lydia talk me into a conversation with a social worker that has yet to manifest in anything. But me wasting my damn time coming down there. So I got the exercise that came with that. I decided not to go to Hollywood to climb hills rather. I could have if I didn't have this stupid crap to do. Instead, I just ran down there for no damn reason. So yeah, it's been a little bit of irritation. Last night I was sleeping really good, man, and around 4:30 in the morning, this dog started barking down the street and wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop for nothing for at least an hour. So I ended up kind of waking out of that good deep sleep, not being able to go back to sleep till like 6 a.m. So I'm kind of thrown off by that alone. But I still brought myself down here, and I'm not upset that I did, only because I was able to get some exercise in. I probably would have opted to stay home the way I was feeling. So that's not best for what it is that I've been doing as of late, trying to acclimate myself to this heat as it continues to get hotter and hotter and hotter every day. Because of course we're approaching summer now, so we're not going to see anything under 83 over the next 10 days based on the thermostat. So just dealing. But yeah, man, aside from that, I feel pretty good. No complaints outside of just time wasting, fare wasting trips to the clinic for no reason. I actually feel pretty good outside of that. I've been enjoying a lot from the basketball stuff, the aftermath, all the basketball talk from the draft. I've been wanting to watch that. I've been drafting basketball teams, even though I need to stop because they haven't updated all of the different stuff that they need to update in order for the draft to make sense. So you don't even have the rookies on there yet. I drafted about 9 teams. I think I will call it for the next couple months until they update all that needs to be updated before drafting any more teams, because as is, it's going to be a free-for-all on the waiver wire for all these damn rookies. So I already know that is going to be something that you don't want to deal with if you're a fantasy basketball fan. So yeah, man, that's what my day's been like thus far. These last 2 days have been about making sure I'm home for the draft. Yesterday, of course, I had that whole situation with losing the key or leaving it in the house. That was fun. Turns out I had given them the wrong door. but the key number's on the door. I didn't memorize the key, so anytime anyone asks me what room I'm in, I just look at the key. If I don't have the key, then I'm going by memory, and my memory is pretty solid these days. But if you're changing rooms every 3 weeks, it's hard to keep up, especially since this is week 1 of that room rather. So I ended up telling them I was in the opposite room, a different number that would switch the room numbers around. They had the key, the master key for the room that I was in, but not for the room that I wasn't in, for which they had to open up. It turned out somebody was in there. It was a really bad ordeal there. I had to apologize to them, but you know, it was one of those weird conundrums that ended up transpiring, because what ended up happening was I of course locked myself out, as you guys already know. What I didn't know is that my key was not where I thought it was. So I just so happened, while the key was not where it normally is, just so happened to forget to reach for it to find that it was actually missing. So all this time I'm walking around knowing that I locked myself out, but didn't know that the key wasn't actually where I thought it was. So I'm assuming this whole time the key is on the table, right? I get home and I check the table where the key's supposed to be. It ain't there. So for about 3 hours after I get in the room, my homegirl opened the door up for me, so I was able to get in. When they realized I had given them the wrong number, they realized the key they were looking for was actually there. So she was able to run up there and turn the knob for myself. I get in there, glance over to where the key is, and it ain't there. So I'm like, now mind you, not only am I the guy that doesn't forget the key, I'm also the guy that doesn't lose the key. So not only did I manage to lose the key, but simultaneously I had actually forgot to reach for it. So it was a really, really strange thing for my personality. That don't happen, y'all. Both of those things do not happen. I don't forget my key and I don't lose my key. And I happen to do both. But the weird part about the whole thing was, if I would have known that the key was missing, I would not have actually left the house to do all the things that I ultimately needed to do. It was only because I thought I knew where the key was and it happened to lock it in the house that I ever felt confident to even leave the house. Because what I would have likely did was search around for the key. And as you guys remember, if you watched the little video that I made yesterday, I only had an hour and a half to handle what I needed to handle before needing to be back home to watch the draft. So it would have been one of those situations where I probably would have opted to stay in and wouldn't have got all the things that I ultimately was able to get. Probably wouldn't have got the exercise that I got. And so it was just one of those weird things where I was like, I was kind of glad that I thought I knew where the key was. Because if I would have looked for the key and then didn't find the key, I'd have stayed in the house and not purchased all that and not gotten the exercise, etc., etc. So it was a weird situation there, but ultimately it was one of those things where after I had torn up the house looking for the key, went through everything that I owned, looked everywhere I thought it could be, and finally gave up and realized that I had lost their key. I was thinking, but the problem is, how did I initially get in the damn house? The key got to be in the house. That was the thing. It was like, unless I took it downstairs while I was doing laundry and didn't lock the door behind me, as to which I wouldn't need the key to get back in. Now, if I had lost it in that ordeal, it makes sense. Other than that, me locking the door, I had to have gotten in somehow. Problem was, I had done laundry last. In fact, the last time I thought I had seen the key probably was when I did laundry. So at that point, I was like, the first thing that came to my mind was, I wonder if she actually opened the door with the key that was supposed to be given to me. Maybe somebody had brought it back to them. You know what I mean? I was like, that's the first thing that came to mind. Like, did she use the master key to open the door, or did she use the key? Did somebody bring it back from doing, maybe I found it when I was doing laundry? But I was thinking, nah, that don't seem right. That's a small possibility of that being the case. I don't think so. They probably keep those two keys in different spots. the master key versus the regular key. She would have noticed one of them was missing, or that two of them were there rather in this situation. So that didn't make any sense. So I'm like, man, I don't know where this key is, but chances are it has to be in one of a couple places. And so when I finally gave up, I was like, you know what? It's been over 24 hours since I did laundry, so I thought about going to the laundry room and just seeing if it was down there, but someone would have found it by then and likely either brought it back to the office or pocketed it themselves for no real random reason, which didn't, when I tried to assess that didn't make any sense. They would have brought it back to the office. So the only thing I could conclude was either it's out in somewhere, like dropped by the trash can when I threw the trash out in that same flurry of doing laundry. Maybe left in the laundry room underneath the laundry desk or something, underneath a machine or something. But even then, I felt like the way that I operate, the way that I am, I would have seen that. I wouldn't have taken it out of my pocket, so it would have had to have fallen out of my pocket. And if it fell out of my pocket, I would have heard it at any given point. You're going to hear a key fall. It ain't that many steps from where my room is to the laundry room. So I'm assessing all of this. My mind is going in every direction, trying to deduce what makes the most sense. And the only thing I could come to the conclusion of was that the key had probably got dropped and I didn't hear it, as I was probably taking the trash out. Hopefully I didn't have it fall in the trash bag inadvertently and then threw the trash bag out. That's what I was thinking. And I was like, that seems improbable, because it doesn't make any sense that it would come out of my pocket in order to do that. I ain't like I'm reaching in my pocket for anything in that flurry. So as I'm thinking about all of this, I hear this voice in my head say, you didn't lose the key. As all these thoughts are going through my head trying to make some sense of this, I heard something in my head say, no, the key's not lost. I'm like, well, I certainly don't have it. Like, whoa. Like, no, the key's not lost. And the Lord, and it was one of those situations, was what I heard after that, it was more or less like the Lord just wanted certain things to transpire that only would have transpired if you thought the key was lost. The key ain't lost. It's gonna pop up. And I'm like, they gonna make me pay $30 or more for this key, so it can't just pop up. I need to know where it's at. Someone might have the key in their pocket, try coming in on me at night. We don't know what type of transient individuals, type of crazy drug addicts in this building. I may need to sleep with one line open if I don't have my key and it's somewhere out in the open. Who knows? Like, and it was one of those situations where it was like, the energy that came to me about it was essentially the Lord wanted things that took place to happen in a certain sequence. And it only worked out that I thought the key was missing. And then that the conversation that we had on this channel about things not having nothing to do with me, but involving me and having something to do with someone else's life came to mind. It was like, you know what? You might not even be you may not even be about, this may not be about you. This may be about the person who needed to open the door for you. This may have been having something to do with your friend who opened the door for you and the timing of things that had to go with her life. But trust and believe the key's not lost. It's going to pop up. And so it was like, and that's what came to mind. And I started realizing, yo, she did open the door for me. Maybe the Lord wanted her to open the door for me. She was at the end of her shift. She was in a rush to do certain things. But because she's my homegirl, my friend, she wanted to take time out to open the door for me. And maybe that was the point. Maybe the Lord wanted her to be a blessing to me. Maybe the Lord wanted that to transpire exactly the way that it did, to align her with the timing of the Lord. This little detour kept her from rushing. Maybe she gets in her car and gets in a car accident if she doesn't take that detour that is created by this very unique and rare conundrum. And that's what I took from it. The Lord said, it's going to pop up. Don't worry about it. And I don't think it was maybe 3 minutes after that thought came to mind, after I just gave up looking for it. I had checked everywhere I could check. I came through every conclusion. The key was gone. I couldn't find it. I had lifted up my mattress to see if maybe some wild way, while I was putting the mattress putting the sheets on the mattress, I remembered I had flipped the mattress at some point because they put it on backwards, but I thought that was before this particular laundry ordeal. So I'm like, nah, that didn't make sense. But let me just check it. Maybe when I put the sheets on this time, maybe I somehow put it on top of the key, put the sheets on over the key. Maybe that makes sense. So I run my hands through the bed to see if maybe I could feel it in there. Maybe I lifted the mattress underneath there, all this. Like, I did everything I could. Looked underneath the bed, pulled stuff out. Everywhere I could look, even stuff that didn't make any sense, I tried. And after giving up, after accepting that I'm probably gonna have to give them $30, because that's what happens when you lose a key. It might be $50 actually, I don't know. They fine you for that. I just said, God, well, I'm just gonna leave it up to you. I just won't have my deposit this time. Maybe it'll pop up between now and when I have to let go of this room. But what I definitely cannot do is leave my door unlocked, pretending like I have my key when I don't. You know, that's something that puts too much of a risk on things. So I was like, man, forget it. I gave up. And then I glanced onto my bed. After putting the sheets back and everything, this thing didn't drop on the floor or nothing. It was on the bed. The key was on the bed, camouflaged with the print of the bed, because it's the same color as the bed. I'll show y'all exactly what it is. This color is also on the comforter of the bed. It had blended in with that. It was on the bed the whole time. The whole time it was sitting on the bed. All that movement on the bed never knocked it off the bed. Never, just somehow, throughout all of that, stayed in a spot that camouflaged it so perfectly that I never saw it. And then that voice said, see, I told you it wasn't lost. And the funny thing was, my eyes just kind of went to where it was. I don't even remember what my brain was thinking when I saw the key. I felt like the Lord just kind of sent me to where the key was at random. Like, I didn't know where the key was, but for some reason, my eyes went to exactly where the key was. That was the weird part. It wasn't like I had to scan the bed or nothing. It was just like, all right, we're done. Key's there. Literally. One of the strangest ordeals, man. So I definitely wanted to document that for y'all, just to show y'all how the Lord has been doing things in my life, timing-wise, and voices and what have you, telling you things are going to be okay when you ain't got no reason to believe it is. And once more, that faith in the Lord came through, telling me something that came true with that same voice that it always do. So when I walk away from that, I just think that the Lord wanted things to transpire exactly the way they did. And when he was done with whatever he was doing, the key was found. No damage was done. I was able to accomplish everything I would have accomplished if I didn't lose the key. And if I would have known the key was lost, I wouldn't have done any of those things. So that was just a very unique situation. And the Holy Spirit was out throughout the whole thing. And then I remembered that I had prayed before I left the house. When I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go to Trader Joe's or not, I said, God, would you make this all work out? Because I'm otherwise going to be lazy here. I'm not going to move. And I could definitely use some things. And that same voice said, all right, let's just go out. We got time. That same voice that told me the key's not lost gave me the notion to just go out and let's do this Trader Joe's run. So yeah, man, that's my testimony, man. Once again, trusting that voice in the head, investing in the relationship with God, and seeing stuff like this transpire time-wise that apparently not only affects my life, but possibly somebody else's life too. So that's exactly what I took from that. And that's what I leave with you. So yeah, man, that was weird, man. That was weird, but you know, it all worked out. I don't have to owe them people no money unless I lose the key from here. And as I told the folks at the front desk, I don't think I lost my key at all since being here. In fact, I know I hadn't. And I only lost my key, as I told y'all on the camera yesterday, probably 4 times since living by myself. Only locked myself out 4 times, rather. I don't lose keys. because everything I do is always done the same way. Where I put my stuff is where I put my stuff. And then, you know, it's like, you can't lose your key if you put your key next to your wallet every time. You can't lose your key if you always tap in your pants pocket, you know, which I'm always doing, making sure it's there. So it's like certain things have been worked into my equations for almost 20 years. So a lot of this should be bulletproof. So long as I'm in my right mind, I'm not super high or nothing. Shouldn't be no reason I'm losing nothing. You know, not the way I operate and how monotonous I be. So I don't know, man. I just felt like that was a very unique situation that only went that way because that's exactly the way God wanted it to go. And I walk away from it saying I'm hopeful that I was able to align all parties involved with what it is he was trying to do. And judging by how it transpired, I'd imagine that's exactly what happened. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to document that and let y'all know how that went. Very unique for me that I would even leave the house at 3:45 to go to the grocery store on a day where I'm feeling lazy. 9 out of 10 times, I'm probably not going to even convince myself to leave the house in that situation if I'm tired, or if I got other things I'm doing, or if I'm as comfortable as I was yesterday. So all of that was unique, man. All of that was 1 out of 1,000 times would any of that even happen. So yeah, man, that's pretty much what I got to say. And you know, I'm looking forward to getting back to the hotel right now because, if I'm being honest with you, this is another one of them days when people are acting strange. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a full moon. But a lot of the energy I've been receiving all the way through this entire trip today been a bit edgy. People are edgy today in a different kind of way. So I'm just keeping my head down and doing what I always do. I was talking to my homegirl B yesterday or the day before via text message, voice messages, and she was telling me how LA has gone downhill. How she was seeing some footage of stuff that was taking place on the outskirts of Los Angeles, and she just realized how much worse it's gotten since she moved out of here. And you know, it's true, man. This place has gone downhill, man. It really has. It's a lot of edginess out here. A lot of people drugged out. You know, poverty, influx of individuals from other places who don't have good intentions, stuff like that. And you know, it's ever since having that conversation, I've just been sensing energy that ain't all that great. Sometimes you welcome things into your life when you have certain types of conversations. Got to be careful what you confirm and deny. You know what I mean? Because once you talk about things like death or things like negativity, there's spirits listening that want to welcome and have you welcome that stuff into your life. So we got to be careful to speak positively and to welcome positivity. Think about allowing the Lord to guide us toward welcoming the right things and warding off things that have no business in our midst. So that's exactly where I want to leave y'all with. My name is Bdf 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.